Well, our speaker for today knows a bit about sustainable business. She is the Climate Resilience Manager at Business for Social Responsibility, BSR, in Hong Kong, where she works with businesses to accelerate climate resilience in Southeast Asia. She has assisted Fortune 500 companies in implementing strategic sustainability plans, including responsible sourcing, resource optimization, and community engagement. Having studied the impact of climate policy on vulnerable populations, she had also recommended policy solutions on climate change to ensure sustainable development and urban resiliency. So, ladies and gentlemen, to share the lessons she has learned about climate resilience and sustainable business, please welcome Ms. Eileen Gallagher. Eileen?
Nice talk, but let's take a look at how this can affect sector-specific industries. So say there is a heavy rainfall resulting in landslides. It hits a community with several businesses. For a manufacturing company, this could disrupt the input of supplies, damaged facilities, employees may not be able to get to work, distribution is disrupted, customers are unable to purchase goods. For an energy or utilities company, climate hazards can damage or disrupt electricity distribution channels. There might be greater demand for energy management solutions, such as increased capacity after a storm, increased demand for cooling systems during heat waves and as temperatures increase. Water availability, which is critical for hydropower, can be at risk during times of drought. And of course, there are concerns of workforce safety, especially those who are working outdoor in the heat or heavy rains. I also want to point out the impact to financial services, even though we might not be in a financial services industry. Climate change can affect a bank and investment company's portfolio. If one of their businesses is struck by a climate event, perhaps they're unable to pay loans. This can lead to underperforming business portfolios, decrease in investor and public confidence in a company. So there are a series of ramifications that companies should consider beyond, let's say, damage to your immediate infrastructure. And again, there's a series of ramifications to not just the sudden climate impact, but some of those more gradual ones as well. So as I described earlier, resilience can help a company reduce risk. It can help a company prepare for uncertainty, but it's more than that. It's more than risk management. It's more than developing a business continuity plan. Resilience can also offer a series of opportunities. And I won't read through all of them here, but I've listed several benefits. A company can ascertain greater financial savings, increase growth by innovating new products and services to help others build resilience. They can protect and secure quality materials and ingredients. They can maintain healthy and productive workforce. So when I'm often asked, well, why should we do this? Shouldn't I just institute a risk management plan? If you're looking to move ahead, if you're looking to gain a competitive advantage, if you're looking and wanting to think more long-term, there needs to be a bit more than the risk management and business continuity planning. There needs to be an eye towards being resilient in the future. So what does this look like? First, of course, a company does need to assess its risk in order to find a solution to solve for it. And the solution would come in the form of a resilience strategy. Companies can leverage what we're calling capital assets. Really, these are a company's existing or prospective strengths. So for instance, a company can invest in its human capital or its people to increase awareness, knowledge, training, equip employees to respond to climate change, both in the workplace and in the community. A company can maybe offer increased health and social benefits for employees to be aware of and treat climate-related health issues, such as heat exhaustion or vector-borne diseases that might increase with additional rainfall and rising temperatures. A company can increase its political capital by forming public-private partnerships with government to address mutual areas of concern, let's say infrastructure or a lack of drainage systems. A company can improve its social capital by working with companies within its industry or sector, or perhaps within its economic zone, to address shared issues on suppliers or distribution. And of course, on natural capital, which we heard about earlier with EDC, companies can look at increased vegetation or improving ecosystems so that they can ensure a clean air and water, create shade by planting trees to help keep facilities cool. These are simply areas of consideration. Building resilience requires a lot of flexibility and needs to be tailored to a particular company and your risk. But I want this to give you a sense of where you could potentially start. So now I'll speak quickly to 2 examples from the region. While these companies do not have a formal resilience strategy, when I spoke to them over the past year, they were telling me how they were addressing their risks, and I could hear how they were indeed leveraging some of their social assets. So I kind of pulled that out as I will tell you the stories here. So to address risks associated with increasing drought, Siam Cement Group in Thailand established a task force and worked with local stakeholders in the country's manufacturing hub. So this is an example of how it leveraged its social capital. In the manufacturing hub, water resources are in very high demand, and during the dry season, the area is increasingly suffering from drought. On a daily basis, the manufacturing companies need 1/5 of the water that's available in the area for production. This has led to water competition among businesses themselves and the community residents. So SCG sought to find a solution. In addition to its policy to not take more than 5% of water supplies from a local area, it established groundwater wells to reserve 200,000 cubic meters of water. So it created a reserve in preparation of potential future drought. It also created ground wells for local agriculture companies and donated water tanks to store water supply for the community. This helped reduce that competition and that tension. It's worth noting that SCG has taken additional steps to conserve water, including piloting a water footprint assessment model in collaboration with Chiang Mai University, offering a water resources management curriculum for employees, and implementing water recycling programs throughout its various processes. Now we can move to Vietnam. So tourism accounts for more than half of all economic activity in coastal Da Nang, Vietnam. Despite its exposure to sea level rise, coastal erosions, typhoons, warming temperatures, the hotel industry in Da Nang is booming. By late 2017, so at the end of last year, Da Nang had more than 450 foreign direct investment projects worth $3.6 billion US. And these projects were geared toward tourism, services, property development. At the same time, down the street from Da Nang, so the picture to the right, in Hoi An, a beach erosion washed away 4,000 square meters of popular beach. According to local officials, increasing intensity of monsoon rains as well as wastewater discharge and development led to this erosion. But the hotel guests don't want to stay there. There's no beach for them. So they're moving their business up to Da Nang. So when I spoke with Furama, the picture to the left, they said, yes, we are getting their guests. They're coming here. We're seeing an increase in hotel stays because no one wants to stay in this one particular area in Hoi An. And I said, well, aren't you worried that if there's beach erosion down the street, what if there's beach erosion where you are? And they said, we're already looking to address these issues as well as other climate hazards that we are indeed seeing. So they've actually partnered with the local tourism association, the Da Nang Climate Change Coordination Office, the Typhoon Prevention Committee, to prepare for the hazards that are affecting not just their facilities, but also that are affecting their workforce and their guests. So Furama invested in physical assets. They had to strengthen some of their infrastructure to protect against strong winds from typhoons. They're investing in natural capital by protecting their sand dunes to prevent erosions. They're planting certain types of vegetation. They're investing in human capital. They're offering more breaks and well-being and care to their workers to escape from the heat. The workers are complaining it's getting too hot. They're actually swapping out linens, so the curtains in the hotel rooms, in unoccupied guest rooms, because there's an increase of mold. So if a room is not sold for the night, they have to go in and take down all the linens, take down anything that is a fabric, because they're starting to see damage. So again, these are just two examples of Siam Cement Group and Furama and how they're addressing the various risks, but more can and need to be done. A holistic risk assessment and resilience strategy will certainly help. So, in sum, I want to say that existing business models need to change. We need to work diligently to address climate change, not only mitigation, not only responding to disasters, but looking more broadly at the different risks associated with climate change. So here are my 5 takeaways. Businesses can take a two-pronged approach, mitigation and adaptation, resilience, and global guidelines do exist to help companies go down this path, whether it's the SBT, Science-Based Targets, or TCFD. Companies should assess risks throughout operations, supply chain, and the community, looking at both acute and gradual hazards. Do not ignore the vulnerabilities that can make risk worse. Companies should build a resilience strategy in response, strengthening their assets that can help reduce risk and gain benefits. Plan for the long term, avoid short-termism, think into the future. I would also suggest integrating the socioeconomic development plans and policies. Looking to what the government is aiming for is certainly important. I would not say to wait for government. Take action, partner with others, government, yes, but also within your industry, technical experts, scientists, civil society, work together on such a complex issue of climate change. And lastly, to disclose data and be transparent. This can lead to opportunities for partnership. It can also encourage other companies to take action too. And finally, I want to say that I've summarized a lot of this analysis in a report, and what might be more helpful to you is a handbook we developed. This is gathering all the publicly available information of tools and resources that are currently available on how to start thinking about risk. It's in one handbook, and we also include a pre-assessment questionnaire geared for specific departments or individuals within a company. So questions that are for the CEO, questions that are for the risk officer, the facility manager. So it's something to look at and consider as you start the process of assessing the broader set of climate risks. And so with that, I'll close, and thank you so much for your time.